Chapter 11. The heroine's actions are also similar to a villain. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Mei Qing, after reaching home, took a shower to freshen up. After changing clothes when she was sitting on the sofa enjoying tea, she heard the door being knocked on. She knew the new bodyguard she ordered must have arrived. She got up and went outside to receive them. There were at least 20 strong bodyguards standing in a well-disciplined manner. She called the villa's security team and ordered them to work with the new bodyguards to increase the villa's security. According to Su Chen's words, Chu Fong will come to stalk me. But I made sure that he was beaten enough to be sent to hospital earlier. Doesn't matter if he comes, he won't be able to go back in one piece. Her eyes became cold the more she thought about Chu Fong. At this point, her hatred for Chu Fong had already reached a new height in her heart. After a couple of hours, Chu Fong walked towards a remote location at the end of the snack street, and his heart was already blooming. This one in front of me should be Mei Qing's villa. Sure enough, the girl I like is top-notch and is also quite rich. She is worthy to become my wife. Hearing these words, Su Chen, who was waiting for the dinner being made by Su Yinger, coughed up. Wow! So fast, he already started stalking her. It's a little regretful that I couldn't take down Mei Qing today. But it doesn't matter, knowing that she has me in her heart, the next thing is simple. Mei Qing, you are destined to be my woman, you can't run away. The taste of the iceberg goddess, I can't wait. When the time comes, I will give you a taste of everything. How did he even manage to get discharged from the hospital? Weren't all his bones broken? Sure enough, the protagonist can't be stopped by ordinary means. Doesn't matter, let's first enjoy the dinner made by my sister and think about him tomorrow. Su Chen ignored Chu Fong's voice. But everyone was not as worry-free as him. Mei Qing suddenly got up from the sofa and went to the balcony. From the balcony, she saw Chu Fong. Sure enough, he still dares to come. Oomph, stalking me. 20 meters away, Chu Fong was standing near a wall, his right hand was already covered in plaster. Although his nose was blue and the face was swollen, the corners of his mouth were crooked, and with a wicked smile that he thought was handsome, he was busy chatting up with a young lady with a face value of at least 80 to 100 points. Although she is not as beautiful as Mei Qing, it is not bad. The key is she is still a high school student girl. As growing teenagers, young girls have great potential. It's always fun talking to such little ones once in a while. Hearing him, Mei Qing felt so disgusted. Without wasting any time, she called the villa's security captain who was stationed at the gate and ordered him to take all bodyguards with him to beat this guy. Make sure this person doesn't see tomorrow's sunlight. Don't worry, miss, leave everything to us, the security captain politely replied and disconnected the phone. In less than 15 seconds, 20.5 bodyguards appeared beside Chu Fong. One of them put his hand directly on his shoulder. Chu Fong's heart sank, and he turned his head toward him, with a strong arrogance, and said deeply. Friend, it's not a good habit to put your hand on someone's shoulder so casually lest you may lose your hand. What did you say? The captain of the bodyguard was shocked. Is this person so brave? Still trying to provoke even when he was outnumbered. As a result, all the bodyguards greeted him with fists and feet, their moves were heavy. The bodyguards beat him violently, and Chu Fong was completely powerless to resist. Although he is very good overseas and has the title of the unmatched soldier king. But his current state was really bad, and in the novel, he is still in the early stage of development. Mei Qing, who was watching everything from the balcony, was surprised. Su Chen was right, the protagonist's halo is too strong, even after being beaten so much he is still alive. Just when she was about to call the security captain once again to order them to kill Chu Fong, a police siren was heard. Everyone stopped their actions and looked at the coming police car that was on a daily round. Mei Qing gritted her teeth. It seems he can't be killed so easily, his luck is also so high. Perhaps only Su Chen knows how to deal with him. While everyone's attention was diverted, Chu Fang took advantage of the situation to run away. Within seconds he had already run far away. Turning his back towards the bodyguards he shouted, "Today's affairs, this Chu Fang will remember. Worry about your wife and children, they won't live long enough." Chapter 12 Sisters Surprise Attack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After eating dinner, Su Chen and Su Yinger started drinking. "Junior brother, you have maintained this house at least in good shape. I am thinking of moving here from the company's quarters. I think I must spend more time with you." "Sister, how do you want to spend more time?" Su Chen's pent-up desire had already reached a critical level. Under the influence of alcohol he decided to tease her back. Like we went shopping today, Tomo." Hiccup, "Tomorrow we will go somewhere else," she nodded repeatedly after barely managing to complete her sentence. "It seems you also are drunk, give me your glass, no more drinking." Su Chen tried to take away the glass from her hand. "No, we only drank 3.4 bottles. Sister, be obedient." "No, I said no." Su Yinger spoke like a spoiled child. It seems you are getting overconfident that I won't do anything to you." Su Chen got up from his place and took her in embrace. "Give me the glass." "No, that she once again denied him. But before she could sit back a crisp sound reverberated throughout the room. Su Yinger's entire face became red. You. How dare you slap my buttocks?" She cried in a high pitch like a kitten whose tail was stepped upon. "Ah, you meanie!" Once again she was answered with a slap on her buttocks. "Still not obedient. I am doing this for your own good, else you gonna puke and blame me. Your drinking capacity is very bad, just look at your staggering drunken figure." Seeing Su Chen's serious gaze, she finally flinched. "Okay," she spoke in a timid tone, still covering her buttocks with one hand in case she was attacked again. "Let's go to sleep, it's getting late." He could feel his body starting to burn up and went to his room. Seeing him going, there was a sly smile at the corner of Su Yinger's lips. "Hee, let's see if you can guard yourself from your sister's surprise attack." She had a simple mind. From childhood, she was sharp. Just the single thought of herself betraying her adoptive parents made her sick to the core. Except Su Chen, whom she had a little favorable impression of, she never interacted with any member of opposite sex. As a result, after thinking all day, she finally came to a conclusion. If I become junior brother's woman, then Chu Fang won't be interested in me, right? While they were drinking, she carefully slipped a strong aphrodisiac in Su Chen's drink. "Mom used to say that I must always take care of Su Chen." I still remember those childhood days when Mom and Dad used to say that I'm the future bride of my junior brother whom I adore a lot. I will choose my own destiny, even if this world is a world of novels. I refuse to be Chu Fang's woman. Her eyes became clear as a determined glint shone through it. She walked toward Su Chen's room and waited patiently outside. Her eyes were staring at the door, trying to make a final decision. After half an hour Su Chen woke up, his entire body was sweating profusely. He could feel his body getting hotter with each passing second. His desire to release his emotions was going up crazily. He finally realized that he was drugged. The effects he was experiencing were similar to the aphrodisiacs which he had used on others in the past. He knew who was the culprit. There was only one person who accompanied him since the afternoon. "Sister, what did you made me drink?" He roared loudly. Just when he was about to get up from the bed, the door unlocked and Su Yinger slowly walked inside. Ignoring Su Chen's dumbfounded expression, she quickly locked the door and slipped into his bed. Chapter 13 Intense Night, R.18, you are listening at novelfull.audio. If you are underage, better not read this chapter cause this is gonna be lewd AF. Su Yinger's face was in front of him. She suddenly hugged him and brought his head close to her ample bosom. Su Chen was taken aback by the surprise attack. His face started getting red. The heavy dose of aphrodisiac was not something one could fight with just mental power. He knew he needed to vent it out, but his mind still retained a thread of rationality. He knew once he went this route, everything would become different. Seeing him hesitating, Su Ying'er decided to give him a final push and held his right hand, wrapping it in her hands. It was warm, soft. And the feeling of her delicate skin spread over his right hand. She quickly removed her top to further stimulate him. It's okay, you have worked hard all this time. You also deserve to win. She looked directly into his eyes. Seeing him still hesitating, she felt aggrieved. Su Ying'er dropped her gaze to her own chest with painful eyes, but Su Chen remained silent. But, as soon as he saw her open chest, his mind was once again filled with all the immoral thoughts, and turned to feel an unbearable self-loathing. Oh, Su Chen, what are you doing? The girl has already taken the initiative, and if you still hesitate, then you do not even deserve to call yourself a man. His inner demons started whispering in his head. Yes, I can't back down. How can I be led by a girl in the bed? As a man, I must take the lead. Plus, didn't I want to save my sister? This is killing two birds with one stone. He reassured himself that what he was about to do was right. However, when Su Chen remained silent for a few seconds, Su Ying'er smiled as if to put him at ease, and pulled his right hand, which was wrapped with her hands, making it touch a certain part of her body. It was her own right breast. Hey, deep breaths, Su Chen. Do you want to make me your woman? She showed a face filled with affection. Su Ying'er's coquettish voice was the final nail in the coffin, all his emotions like a dam burst open. This time, he pressed his head against her chest. It was too comfortable, like he was in heaven. He wasn't able to lift his face. He knew he should, but mind was being sucked in by the happy feeling of Ying'er's voluptuous breasts. A sweet body odor stimulated his nostrils. I want to inhale it as much as I can. It's okay, from now I am yours. She gently patted him on his back. Besides, don't my boobs feel good? I don't mean to brag, but I have a bit of confidence in its size and softness, you know. Yeah, it feels good. I'm glad. I should be exchanging a kiss with her right now. Even she is waiting for it. But, there's no going back once that happens. Just let me ask you one thing. Are you sure? If I wasn't sure, then I wouldn't stoop so low to drug you, she chuckled. As her first time, she too was worried, putting all her hopes on Su Chen. Hiding her inner fears, she mustered up her courage and entrusted her entire self to him. Looking at her determined face, there was only one thought running in Su Chen's mind. I can't disappoint her. He slowly drew near her face and put his lips on hers. And then, the moment they exchanged a kiss, Su Ying'er leaked out a sweet breath. Her lips were cool and bouncy, just a touch and it already felt good. I want to do this forever. While making a wet sound, Su Chen pulled his lips away from hers. Su Ying'er was staring at him with a dazed face. And then, Fu. After he repeated light kisses like a little bird pecking at its food, he switched to an adult kiss. He pried open her lips with his tongue and pushed the tip in. His elder sister accepted it without any difficulty. She naturally twined her own tongue with his. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Nothing but wet sound resounded in the bedroom. Pooh! Ha! They pulled their faces away while their tongues still tangled. Together with her entranced breathing, the saliva stretched like a thread from both of their tongues. She was gazing at him with an enraptured look on her face. Su Chen, too, was feeling his wild lust rising at the sight of such a lovely Ying'er. An adult kiss is something that feels this good, isn't it? Her eyes were already intoxicated with the feeling. And it's only going to feel better. He once again looked at her abundant boobs. They were as juicy as freshly picked fruits. Her pink areolas were as large as a typical person's, and at the tips were tiny, puffy nipples. L.rg, they're big, and incredibly beautiful, that makes me happy, but if you comment on it so straightforwardly, it's embarrassing. Su Yinger's cheeks blushed. Then, I'll help myself, NN. He reached out his hands to her breasts and began to massage them, lightly wrapping them in his palms. He wanted to go at it intensely from the start, but his reasoning naturally denied him to do so. Her skin was smooth and free of any impurities, and it felt good just by touching it with both hands. The elasticity as well as the softness of her boobs were incomparable to those of prostitutes. Su Yinger's arousal was also increasing. Her white skin was moist and sweaty. Blood also proceeded to gather on her nipples, and they were getting erect. Ah. NN. Ha, brother, my boobs, how are they? You still need to ask such a question. Su Chin pinched the two nipples with his fingers. He played with them by pressuring them with his fingers. Ah, ha, this. This feels good. Then next I'll do this, ah, ha. He licked his tongue all over her left nipple while pinching her right nipple. Her body jolted up. My nipples, they feel so much better. He took the left nipple into his mouth, running his tongue all over the tip and sucking it as if he were seeking his mother's milk. At the same time, he massaged her right breast more intensely. For Su Yinger, this was her first experience. Perhaps because this was her first time feeling pleasure, her body would jerk up and quiver each time he attacked her in a new way. Carefully licking her areola, he could clearly discern the distribution of the small bumps around her nipple. It felt strangely fresh and motherly at the same time. The scent of her sweat drifting gently in the air. Mixed with the sweet smell of perfume that she must have sprinkled on her hair, it brought a strong stimulation to his nose. He repeated the caressing even further. Doing the reverse of breast massaging and nipple licking, he suddenly massaged her boobs with both hands, kissing her while doing it, then licking her nape. Ah, hi, ha, ah, too intense, feels good. Why? Yes. Very, very. Su Yinger was writhing with ragged breaths. Her braided hair was disheveled and sticking to her sweat-soaked cheeks and shoulders, giving her an indescribable erotic look. By now Su Chen's crotch had gathered sufficient blood from the action so far, and it had risen so much that one could tell even through his pajamas. Su Yinger reached out her hands to his crotch willingly and was gently and lovingly rubbing it. Wow! I'm glad. You are getting properly aroused by my body, right? Of course, I will. Wait, do you perhaps not have confidence? Well, I wonder about that. But, because this is my first time, maybe I just wasn't so sure. Averting her gaze, she grumbled as if it was someone else's problem. However, even then, the hands playing with his crotch never stopped. Rub rub rub. Her hands became bolder and bolder. It feels good. And not just a bit. It'll be bad if you keep on rubbing it. I won't last. Ah, I see. She nodded as if in understanding. Boys will feel good just by having it touched like this, won't they? Stupid, you put so much aphrodisiac in the drink, I am feeling so much stimulus just from your touch. She smiled as though she fully understood it, and slowly pulled down his pants and underwear. And then Su Chen's well-erect penis made its appearance, bouncing up and down. Even Su Yinger was taken aback. This is too big, and the smell. I see. So this is what's called a male smell. Just where did you learn such words? I'm getting concerned about what kind of seduction tricks you secretly learned. She stared hard at it for a while, then suddenly, she moved her mouth closer and started licking the glands. I know you will definitely be pleased if I do this. Su Yinger began to run her tongue not just over the front part of the glands, but on other parts as well. She went on to run her tongue all over the frenulum and the shaft, seeming to want to lick every corner clean. Su Yinger was too seductive. As a result, his penis was becoming even more rigid. She again brought her face to the glands again, gently took it into her mouth, and began to slowly caress it. Chu, nfu, chu, nchu, nen. She single-mindedly comforted him with oral sex. While stimulating his penis with her lips, she used her tongue to stimulate the glands, in particular the highly sensitive part. Hard to think that this was the skill of an amateur. Oi, where did you learn this? NN. Actually, when Mom and Dad told that I would be your future bride, of course, I had to research these things in advance. Su Chen was moved by how sincere she was in trying to serve him. The pace was getting faster and faster, too. The pleasure sensation for him was escalating as well. It's bad if you keep going. Su Yinger raised the pace. She got her own saliva around it, using it like oil to make her movements smoother. On top of that, she pressed her breasts against his legs. N, Chu, Nfu, N. Yinger, it's coming. Splurt, goo, nnnnnnnnn. She received the ejaculation in the deepest part of her mouth. The hot thick liquid was released into her mouth. Nnnnnnn. However, she refused to spit it out. She pulled her mouth away, and slowly swallowed it once, twice, and 3 times. Cough, cough, she smiled proudly. However, there were tears in her eyes. Actually, it must have been very hard on her. Su Chen didn't know what to say. His sister's devotion in serving him was commendable and lovely, and it made him happy. As if reading his inner thoughts, she made a follow-up with a smile. She wiped the mixture of drool and semen dripping from the edge of her lips with her hands. That act contrasted her beauty, making her look irresistibly obscene. While smiling gently, she lovingly rubbed his penis, which had shrunk slightly from the ejaculation. She was happy that she was able to please him. But slowly, her eyes started to lose consciousness. She knew she had drunk too much today. With her weak drinking capacity, it was already a miracle she could make it up to now. Su Chen, be responsible for me from now on. She used her last bit of strength to speak as she fell on the bed. The exhaustion plus alcohol's drowsiness was enough to knock her up to her dreamland. She tried her best, at least the effect of aphrodisiac seems to wear off by now. Next time we will directly go to the final step. Ignoring all the foreplay, Su Chen caressed her cheeks for one last time and covered themselves with a blanket. I am gonna take responsibility for my actions. He knew from now on he was on a completely different route from what he had planned initially, and as a result, his way of dealing with other heroines may change a lot in future. A/N, phew. It was a long chapter, but I somehow managed to post it. Chapter 14. Yes, I admit that I am a villain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the morning, Su Chen woke up early. He didn't bother to wake up Su Yinger, who was still in deep sleep. He caressed her cheeks before covering her in the blanket. Don't worry, this time things will be different. I won't let you suffer. Today is a very important day. Many heroines who listened to Su Chen's voice yesterday knew Su Yinger had already become his woman. They had to admit that when they listened to Su Chen's voice last night telling that he will take full responsibility and not let any harm fall on Su Yinger, they were envious. Some heroines who had yet to make their appearance already regarded themselves as the ones whose role will come in the later part of the story. When they heard from Su Chen that all the heroines in the later part of the story have sad and tragic endings, almost all of them panicked. Seeing Su Yinger's actions, they understood that she was trying to fight against her fate. They too started planning their future actions. Many of the heroines were asleep at the moment and only 2.3 heroines were awake. Hearing Su Chen's voice that today was an important day, the heroines who were awake became excited. Will something interesting happen today? Su Chen quickly took a shower and changed his clothes. While he was eating breakfast, a bodyguard hurriedly came to him. Young master, everything is done. We have found that woman you requested. Hearing him, there was a smile on Su Chen's face. Good. How's the situation? The bodyguard obediently replied, she is still asleep in her apartment and her house is surrounded, there's no way she can escape. The smile on Su Chen's face grew wider and wider. Let's go, we can't waste any time. Su Chen thought about all the things carefully during the night. He knew this time he was fighting directly against the protagonist Chu Fang. His strength, because of rewards from previous plot resets by the system, was already equal to Chu Fang's. The only worry he had was how to face Chu Fang's master and his loyal supporters. He finally came to a conclusion. Do the things directly. Late at night, he called his security team to find the whereabouts of a heroine and he was on his way to find her. You can't blame me for being ruthless. Since I am playing the role of a villain and you will stand against me, you are only to blame yourself. Mo Wanshi, a heroine who had unconditional love for the protagonist Chu Fang, is a die-hard supporter. Even if Chu Fang forced countless women, even if he killed countless innocent people, she will always stand by his side. The reason, Chu Fang once appreciated her talents and as a result, she had a big fight with her family. He encouraged her to become a top hacker that worked exclusively for him. All enemy movements, hacking companies, supervising subordinates, everything fell under her. She secretly followed Chu Fang back to his home country to help him in case of any emergency. This Mo Wanshi will definitely support Chu Fang and will plot a lot of things. Such a heroine is destined to stand against me. Plus the most important part, in the future plot she will make things difficult for Su Yinger so that she suffers from an accident. Such a vicious woman is too dangerous. Hearing Su Chen's voice, many heroines that were now awake were shocked. Mei Qing was one of the heroines who just got up. She was taken aback. Does such a heroine also exist? How does Su Chen plan to deal with her? All heroines who just woke up stopped doing everything they had planned for today and listened to Su Chen's voice for any further updates. After driving with 2 bodyguards, Su Chen had already arrived at his destination. His security team had already sealed the entire apartment building and cut off all escape routes. The captain of the security team hurried over upon seeing Su Chen. Good morning, young master. The target is still in deep sleep. Su Chen nodded at his words. Let's enter her apartment. Without wasting much time he arrived at the 9th floor and forced open the door. Su Chen looked at the bed. A gorgeous beauty with a seducing figure was sleeping leisurely. On the desk, countless files were spread. He looked around and was surprised to find various explosives kept in the apartment. Sir, is this girl perhaps preparing for a terrorist attack? There are so many explosives and even guns kept here. This is too dangerous. Spoke the captain of the security team who was inspecting the apartment. Su Chen ignored him and started looking at the files spread on the table. Sure enough, this heroine is too dangerous. Looking at her files, she has already made detailed plans to blow up my house and my company. There are already many plans to torture Su Yinger and Mei Qing after killing me. Mei Qing and even Su Yinger, who woke up just now, listened to Su Chen's voice. Mei Qing dare to make plans to torture me. Su Chen, you must teach her a lesson. Su Yinger, wow. I am so lucky. Su Chen is already taking care of the potential dangers. I am so moved. He really meant when he said yesterday that he won't let any harm fall on me. Unlike the reactions of Mei Qing and Su Yinger, other heroines who were secretly following the situation were shocked. Many of them had a single thought: that will a heroine perish today? They figured out that as a heroine, Mo Wanshi too was able to hear Su Chen's voice and, perhaps to help Chu Fang, she was already planning to plot against Su Chen. Bring a glass full of water from the kitchen. Su Chen ordered the captain of the security team. Within seconds he brought a glass of water to Su Chen, but he just stood there obediently. He noticed Su Chen was writing something on a spare page. Done. Su Chen took the glass from the captain and threw the water on sleeping Mo Wanshi. Mo Wanshi's eyes suddenly opened, feeling the cold temperature of the water. So today's special girl is awake. Su Chen smiled playfully and threw the piece of the page that he had just written over her. Mo Wanqi's eyes showed an indescribable fear, the panic in her heart was too much on suddenly seeing Su Chen's face. Shit! How can this bastard be here? Tomorrow I plan to plant explosives at his house and his chapter would have ended. I must kill him, he will stand against my Chu Fang. Mo Wanqi slowly picked up the page thrown at her. Upon reading the title her eyes widened. The title was about how to dispose of Chu Fang's body parts after cutting him into 100 pieces. She glared at Su Chen as if he was her biggest enemy. Still giving me a death stare even at such a time. Sorry you have to die today I will really do something worthy of my role as a villain. You, Chu Fang will never let you go if you did anything to me, Mo Wanqi exclaimed loudly. Hee. Isn't it such a tragedy? Dying for someone even before getting the chance to confess to him. I wonder how much despair Chs Fang will feel when he sees your dead body. Will he shed tears? Maybe not, as you know he has no shortage of women. Haha. Su Chen laughed at the struggling heroine, but she was already restrained by his bodyguards. He took the revolver from the security captain. There was despair on Mo Wanqi's face. She wanted to warn Chu Fang, she wanted to run away and at least confess before Chu Fang that she had liked him for a long time. But seeing the revolver she felt like her heart was pinched. No. Su Chen, you are a despicable villain. Yes, I admit that I am a villain. Don't worry, I will send Chu Fang to reunite with you shortly. A loud sound was heard and Mo Wanqi's body fell to the ground. A top beauty faced such a situation today, who would have expected it? Take care of the body and plant fake evidence to point that Chu Fang was involved here. Yes, the security team's captain nodded excitedly. He thought that after following Su Chen for many years, his young master has finally changed and all the bad rumors about him being Mei Qing's licking dog were just rumors after all. His young master must be hiding deeply. A/N. I forgot to post this along with others, so here it is. It's unedited so may have slight errors. Chapter 15 Destiny Villain System Activated. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Chen, after taking care of Mo Wanqi, quickly got in his car. His subordinates will automatically take care of the aftermath, his job is already done. Before Su Chen could breathe a sigh of relief and start the car, the system's sound startled him. Ding! Ding! Abnormality detected. Ding! Ding! The host directly took action against a heroine leading to major changes. System. What's the matter? Didn't you say I can do anything this time? Su Chen was a bit confused. The host's actions correspond to a true villain. Congratulations, hidden route unlocked. The Destiny Villain. The system is undergoing a reboot, all the rewards earned during previous failed plots would be cancelled. No, system, you can't do that. It was so hard for me to reach innate level of strength. What about my proficient piano, painting, calligraphy, driving and other miscellaneous skills? This is unfair, let's f***ing die together. Host, don't worry, by not following the usual plot and killing a heroine directly you have unlocked the hidden true villain route. The skills earned in this mode are much better than previous skills you acquired. For example, if you previously had master level proficiency in singing, then this time you can earn up to mythic level of proficiency, many times higher grade than before. But the pretext is that I still have to work hard to get them. Don't worry host, a multi-dimensional villain store will also open after the system update. The system gave no further explanation. System beginning to reboot, system successfully restarted, the Destiny Villain system activated. Villain store activated, lucky spin option available. Without wasting much time, Su Chen tried to see what had changed. With just a single thought, a store appeared in his mind. There were only 3 options currently available: cultivation techniques, strength. Increasing pills and elixirs skills. After checking all options, Su Chen became excited. All sorts of cultivation techniques like in those wuxia xianxia novels, all sorts of realm.raising pills, master.level piano skills, legend.level piano skills, and mythic.level piano skills, and list kept going on and on. Su Chen felt that after getting Su Yinger, Lady Luck was too strong on his side. But his excitement quickly disappeared when he saw the price of all the items. Everything had a cost of at least a few hundred, and those cultivation techniques, heck. The number of zeros in their amount made him dizzy. He again looked at the bottom of the screen, which showed his current villain value. System. I killed a heroine isn't the amount I got, too less. Killing a heroine on the protagonist's side, her worth should at least be 1,000. The host's logic is flawed. Heroines are not a major part of the protagonist's strength. They usually only help the protagonist with other stuff like managing the business, making money, etc. Isn't it cheap for me? 1,000 villain value for killing one heroine. TSK. Just kill the remaining ones and I will earn the required amount to buy something decent from the villain store. No host, 950 villain points were given as a reward for activating the hidden villain route, and 50 points were awarded for killing a heroine. What? Only 50 points for killing one heroine. Su Chen's mood quickly fell down. 50 points for killing a heroine were too less. He didn't want to become a cold-hearted killer because of a meager points. The host still has a free lucky spin. Does the host wishes to use it? Reminder. Every lucky spin costs 1,000 villain points, and every 100 spins guarantee a mythic level item. Okay, use it. Suddenly a big roulette appeared in front of him with various mythic level items mixed with other useless stuff. Come on, in the name of my junior high school's crush to whom I didn't have the courage to confess. Come on, in the name of that beautiful neighbor who used to bring vegetables to my house. Come on, in the name of my high school senior whose panties I once saw by mistake. The roulette started spinning and it was about to stop at master.level gambling skills. No, in the name of my aunt, whom I used to fool with my innocent face so as to enjoy her soft skin in embrace. In the name of my school president whom I kissed forcefully in disguise. Whether it was Su Chen's luck or all of his deceitful words, the roulette moved a little more before stopping at the heaven-defying sutra. Oh gosh! The Lady Luck is really on my side, haha. Isn't this one of the highest grade cultivation techniques worth at least 40,000 villain points? Su Chen started laughing out aloud. System, give me my stuff fast. Suddenly a large amount of information appeared in his mind. He felt his body's aptitude being altered, his meridians being changed. Within a couple of seconds his body had undergone a drastic change and his strength reached rookie level. He could feel the newfound strength in his body. This cultivation technique is really good, but I don't plan to shut myself like some monk and practice in caves or hills. If I did that, who would take care of the protagonist? System, any shortcuts? The host can exchange 1,000 points to increase the realm by a small boundary. Chapter 16. The story intensifies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sure enough, the system is really a cheat. Su Chen turned on the car's stereo and started humming a sound before drifting away. His thoughts were flying. This Mo Wanshi has been taken care of already. Now let's see what was the plot again. By this time all the remaining heroines have already realized that one of the heroines was directly killed by Su Chen. All of them left whatever they were doing to pay utmost attention to Su Chen's thoughts. Yeah, it's finally the time for the policewoman Lu Ruer to make her appearance. A complete idiot. Maybe idiot is not the word that can describe that brainless woman. Chu Fong tried to impress Mei Qing by beating a few thugs she encountered on the street and as a result, got caught by the police. Normally it should be the thugs that should be arrested, but then again Chu Fong is the protagonist. He beat those poor thugs so badly that almost all of their bones were broken, and most of them even had life-threatening injuries. After being taken into custody for excess violence, Chu Fong sees Lu Ruer for the first time inside the police station. And here comes the bullshit plot. Chu Fong tells her that he has never seen a courageous police woman like her before. He tells her that he is a noble person, a righteous citizen who helps the country by killing big criminals. And how can we forget that? He then shows his disgusting smile showing his yellow teeth and offers his hand to Lu Ruer, asking her to become his secret helper and together they will save the country. He blatantly lies and this stupid woman believes him, then it's pretty easy to guess. This brainless woman impressed by such a shitty routine helps Chu Fong clear all charges against him, heck she even helps Chu Fong get the Good Citizen Award. Sure enough, women with big breasts like her have no brains. Probably all the nutrients they eat adds up to bosom and buttock size instead of adding IQ to the brain. Unknown to Su Chen, whose thoughts were flying wide while he was leisurely driving back home, in a cabin inside the local police station, a woman wearing a police uniform had a frown on her face. Yes, this was no other than Lu Ruer. Snap in anger, she broke the pen she was using to write her daily report. She stood up and shouted loudly. This lady is not reconciled. I am an idiot. I am a big breasted and no brains. Su Chen is your name, right? I will come to your house tonight and teach you a lesson. A/N he checkbook synopsis, you will get a hint what will happen. Dare to slander me. And that yellow teeth bastard Chu Fong, a criminal, probably a fucking mercenary who killed hundreds of innocents, dares to blatantly lie and misleads me. Saying that we will save the country together. I am not that stupid to team up with such a disgusting criminal. Originally she thought she wouldn't have much of a role, never expected her role would come too fast. Hearing Su Chen's voice for so long she had already realized that there was a problem with both Mei Qing and Su Yinger, and for some reason both of these girls didn't follow the original plot. Probably like her, both of them can hear Su Chen's voice too. And decided to stand on the opposite side of Chu Fong. Even though she too wanted to beat Chu Fong, how can she take sides too easily? After all, she is a law-abiding policewoman. In the eyes of the law everyone is equal, none can be favored. Whether they are a protagonist or a villain or even a mere supporting role. Everyone must live honestly and let the things happen naturally without breaking any law order. But now fuck all these righteous thoughts, she knew that Chu Fong can no longer be considered as an ordinary person. This Chu Fong dares to have thoughts on her while in custody, courage is really too big. Who knows what he will do if a girl says no to him or makes him angry. Probably directly drug her and sleep with her. Or kidnap her and make her a plaything. She must teach Chu Fong a lesson. But before Chu Fong, she must teach Su Chen a lesson. Must visit his house at night at all costs. After venting out all her emotions, her chest which was heaving up and down finally relaxed. Taking a deep breath she sat down once again. Hearing her loud voice, a few policemen came in her cabin. They thought perhaps maybe a criminal escaped. Madam, what happened? Seeing them, Luo Ruer felt a little embarrassed. Nothing, just now I was scolding my sister on the phone. You guys go back. After they went back, Lu Ruer couldn't help but stomping her feet in anger. It's all that Su Chen's fault that made me lose my image in my workplace. Hearing my loud voice full of anger, now all my colleagues will think that I am a violent woman. Just wait for me, Su Chen. After calming down once again she subconsciously looked down at her breasts. It's not that big. It's just G.cup size. A/N. Jeez. I only updated this book cause so many of you asked for update, so here it is. We'll see you in December hopefully. I already explained reason in the other book. Chapter 17 Unexpected Encounter. Plus coins giveaway. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A/N. Oh gosh, I put this book in the villain contest on a whim at the last moment and we end up winning the contest for villain category somehow. Since we got the winning banner and banner hard to get, I will post 2.3 chs more for now. The rest of the day passed without much events. By the time Su Chen arrived back home, Su Yinger had already left, leaving him a message. She had gone to a neighboring city to check on some company's factories. Su Yinger, who had already bound her fate with Su Chen after that beautiful night, was already in high spirits. As for Mei Qing, although she too wanted to monopolize Su Chen and was secretly a bit jealous of Su Yinger, but all of this was new for her. She was herself not sure of her feelings and thus didn't know how to act, so she got busy with her company's work. After all, Su Chen is her legal fiancé, he can't escape her. Sooner or later they will interact and things will progress, right? In the local police station, although Lu Ruer tried her best to finish her work early, the new criminal cases forced her to work overtime. Lu Ruer felt wronged. She wanted to sneak into Su Chen's house late at night to teach him a lesson, but her hands were tied. Ah! Why so many new cases today? The follow-up investigations would need at least 3.4 days. Su Chen, you just wait, this young lady will definitely take her revenge. Today was a free day. Unlike others, Su Chen spent most of his day playing online games. Ah! Playing games, this habit never gets old. It feels so good when you don't have a role. Su Chen exclaimed as he won his 5th consecutive MOBA match. Before he could start another match, the doorbell rang. Ah, must be some salesman. Just let him ring the bell a few times and he will leave when no one replies. But to his dismay, the doorbell kept ringing continuously. Fuck. Who is it? Can't they understand the owner doesn't want to see them? Su Chen finally got up from the sofa and headed to the door. There was only one thought in his mind. Must make the shitty salesman who dares to interrupt his game cry without regrets. As soon as Su Chen opened the door, his pupils dilated. A gorgeous girl was standing, her eyes, her eyebrows, her face, everything about her was perfect. She can easily score 10 out of 10 even if she wore plain clothes. But her beauty had no effect on Su Chen, his mind was screaming inwardly. The girl he never wanted to have an encounter with was standing right upon his door. His breathing hastened, and his eyes stared at hers while hers stared at his. Fuck. Fuck. Fucking fuck. What is this Chu Chensi, Chu Fang's junior sister, doing here? He tried his best to hide his surging emotions. Hello. What can I do for you, Mississippi? There was still a little bit of hope in his mind that she came to the door wrong. Hello young Master Su Chen, my aunt is a friend of your mother and since I needed a job, your mom told me I can help her son by managing housework. She had recently been worried as you rarely call her back these days, with me by your side talking proper care, she will feel at ease. Chu Chensi replied as if it was something casual. Noel Dem. Just when Su Chen was about to argue back, his cell phone rang. The caller ID was none other than his mom. He nervously picked up the phone. Hello. Mom, on the line. Her mom was in a hurry. Oh my dear son, your mom has found a beautiful girl to take care of all your household work, she is the best maid you can get. She must have explained to you other things. Okay, I'm in a hurry for a meeting. Remember to call me later. Bye. The phone was hung up without giving Su Chen a chance to talk. Chu Chensi, who eavesdropped on their conversation, had a bright smile on her face. Only she knew how hard it was to get in contact with Su Chen's mother to deliberately approach Su Chen. But now her plan was already successful. Without waiting for his reply, she had already moved into the house with her suitcase. With an aggrieved face, Su Chen closed the door. Even though there was a smile on his face, he wanted to cry so badly. Normally a boy should feel happy in the company of beauty, but this thing is only valid if the other party is normal. Yes, this woman. Chu Chensi was not your normal girl. After showing Chu Chensi her room, he once again sat on the sofa. He just sat quietly while the girl was busy decorating her new room. I am scared. This Chu Chensi is the most abnormal girl. I would have definitely avoided her, but how the heck did she become my maid? The fact that she is Chu Fang's sister is not the main point. She was adopted by Chu Fang's parents when was small. Later, Chu Fang disappeared after the age of 10. All thought he was kidnapped, but who knows, this protagonist had already decided to leave the country and start his career as the biggest mercenary abroad. The plot goes like this. In the later part of the story, Chu Feng visits the capital and reunites with his sister. All the grievances, all the sadness of separation are washed away with a hug. He repeatedly flirts with her, and since they live under the same roof plus non-blood related, things are bound to happen. Eventually, Chu Chenxi becomes Chu Feng's woman. But here comes the twist, this girl has a strange fetish. She can only truly fall in love after entering. Yes, this girl has a very strong tendency to steal. I don't know if it's the plot settings or that damn author deliberately did that. Majority of readers speculated that she joined Chu Feng's harem to steal other heroines from him, while a minority said that she joined Chu Feng's harem to steal him from the other heroines. No matter who was right, one thing was a matter of fact that she wanted to steal someone who was already in love with others. Her setting is like that. She can only fall in love once her fetish of entering someone is successful, plus she can do many unimaginable things to make her fetish true. Ugh, I feel a little scared. Hearing his inner voice, all the heroines who were secretly paying attention were shocked, they had goosebumps all over their skin. All of them were straight and had no interest in same-sex nor had any wish to interact with a person having such sort of fetish. There was only a single thought in all the heroines' mind, must stay miles away from Su Chen's house as long as that Chu Chenxi stays there. Chu Chenxi, who was placing her things in her new room, had a blush on her face. She was too embarrassed when Su Chen spoke about her deepest desires. But there was a sly smile at the corner of her lips. As expected, this Su Chen is really interesting. Coins giveaway. I will post next later today. The first 2 or 3 people to comment on the chapter will get coin redeem key for 100.150 coins. Chapter 18, The Concept of ing your own self. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Even though the situation was critical, Su Chen was finally able to calm himself. It's okay, if she tries to have any thoughts for Su Yinger, then I won't mind making her straight. To divert his mind, he once again started playing his online MOBA game, but shortly, Chu Chenxi came and sat next to him. Young master, what do you plan to eat for dinner? She asked in her most gentle tone. You can make do with whatever is available in the kitchen. Su Chen never cared about it in the first place, he wasn't a picky eater and ate anything the maid cooked. Oh, by the way, I have asked all the maids to go back home and not come for at least a month. I will take care of you, just count on me. Her eyes blinked a couple of times before turning into a crescent. Seeing her happy face, Su Chen just nodded at her. Even though he felt something was fishy, he still couldn't figure out what was wrong. Well, as far I remember, other than her wrong fetish, everything about her is good. She is a good cook, has a caring, gentle character, and won't mind spoiling you with her affection. Unknown to him, hearing his praise for herself, Chu Chenxi had a strange feeling. Her heart fluttered like never before. Inside the kitchen, while making her favorite dish for the dinner, she made a fist as she whispered to herself. You gotta stay calm, Chu Chenxi. Deep breaths, 3, 2, 1, I'm the best. Of course, I am the best girl, hee hee. Those girls who tried to change the plot, what were their names again? Su Yinger and Mei Qing, right? They must be feeling quite jealous and should be having a sour face after hearing Su Chen praise me in their minds, right? She had a smug expression written all over her face. Like this, 4 days passed. During this time Su Chen tried to reach out to Su Yinger to inquire when she would be back. Having had the taste of a wild night full of passionate sex with her, he wanted another session. But to his dismay, Su Yinger had no plans to return until Chu Chenxi left. She gave an excuse that the factories were underperforming during the inspection and that it will take some time for her to come back. As a result, Su Chen spent a lot of time with Chu Chenxi. Since Chu Chenxi had already dismissed other maids, there were only her and Su Chen in the house. There was no significant plot which required his role for now, so Su Chen had no options. Out of boredom, both played games together, talked to each other about various miscellaneous topics, and watched movies late at night in home theater. Under Su Chen's guidance, by third day Chu Chensi had already become a decent mage and support player. Su Chen was really enjoying his life at that moment. He experienced the services of a top mate firsthand, getting his shoulders massaged, drinking nutritious soup, enjoying top-quality spicy food. Su Chen was sure if this continued, he would become lazy in no time. Thankfully, his little holiday was about to end as the plot needed him to perform tomorrow. Since the other party is voluntarily offering her services, why not enjoy it while he had the time? Oh Chensi, come fast and pick up your phone, the next ranked match is about to begin. Su Chen was in a good mood. He was already on a 10-win streak. He wanted to climb up to legend rank in one go. Young master, wait. I'm coming in 1 minute. Just let me boil this milk. As expected, this Chu Chensi is no different from what I had seen before reset. Oh, such a caring maid. Come waifu. Chu Fang, you really do not deserve her. Hearing Su Chen's voice, Chu Chensi stopped all her actions and stood there motionless. Her eyes straightened as her eyebrows sharpened. There was seriousness on her face. If Su Chen saw her at this moment, he would shout danger. Danger. Maybe it was his carelessness or the lax attitude of the other party which she deliberately showed. Su Chen forgot about her serious fetish. During past 3 days, Chu Chensi had heard Su Chen's voice countless times. Every time her actions were compared to the Chu Chensi that he knows from his previous reset. Her emotions kept getting agitated every time Su Chen said something like, "As expected, it's just like the Chu Chensi that I know, the Chu Chensi that I remember is the best maid." Whenever she was compared to the Chu Chensi, Su Chen knew in his memory before the reset, her emotions became more and more turbulent. The deepest dark desires in her heart started taking root. Since childhood, she had been mostly alone, so interactions with the opposite sex were very limited. One time by chance, she saw her friend's boyfriend cheating on her even though her friend loved him unconditionally. At that time, the fear that she too can be cheated like her friend terrified her. As a result, she started reading various dark stories secretly and unknowingly aroused her fetish. She thought it would be too satisfying and fulfilling if she could also steal someone from the person they loved, or won't she have much fun if she could cheat on her partner. This dark desire, she hid deep within her heart, not daring to tell anyone lest they think she is a crazy woman, and later hearing Su Chen's voice out of the blue, she became interested in him and decided to have fun by messing with him. Since her parents were already gone for a vacation and she was bored alone, why not visit Su Chen? Chu Chensi admitted the past 4 days she spent with Su Chen, she really enjoyed it a lot. Although he is a bit clumsy and has some shortcomings, overall he is a nice person who will take care of the person associated with him. Judging from his heard voice, he was also strong and had a lot of capabilities. This was the first time she spent so much time with a person of the opposite sex, plus she suddenly felt needed by his repeated requests during the past few days. Chu Chensi's liking of Su Chen had reached a very high level. She now didn't even like the fact that Su Ying'er took the lead in choosing his side. In her mind, she was annoyed that should have come before her. At that very moment, a dangerous thought passed through her mind. She was like, why not NTR her own self? The more she thought, the crazier her eyes became. The milk which was boiling had already started spilling out of the beaker, but she was too lost in her thoughts. Yes. That's it. If we go according to the plot and from Su Chen's previous reset perspective, then I'm Chu Fang's woman, even though it's a new story in the previous reset which I am not aware of. I was Chu Fang's woman and this is kinda a matter of fact. According to his memories, I belong to Chu Fang. So if I take the initiative and become Su Chen's wife, won't it mean I cheated on Chu Fang knowingly, plus that Chu Fang even told me that he will marry me when he comes back in the future. When he ran away from home at the age of 10, at that time I was ignorant and promised him foolishly. What will be Chu Fang's expression when he sees the girl who promised him at the age of 10 to be his future wife, become someone else's woman? Plus, I am better than Chu Chenxi's image feeded into Su Chen's mind. The way Su Chen keeps complimenting and comparing me with that Chu Chenxi annoys me so much. It seems he has a slight liking or perhaps a little crush on that Chu Chenxi, right? Otherwise, he won't bother comparing me with her. I am the best girl, I will steal Su Chen from myself in that case. Oh gosh. There's so much Netori in NTR mixed, I am getting too excited. Chu Chenxi forgot about everything and started laughing madly. She could already see that her fantasy would soon become reality. Su Chen, who was waiting on the sofa, had no idea what was brewing inside the kitchen. He was completely unaware of all the things Chu Chenxi was feeling. Just as he was about to call Chu Chenxi to play together, the system which had been quiet for these days suddenly spoke up. Ding. Full anti-virus scan has been completed. A major system bug has been discovered that may affect the host's actions. Su Chen was taken aback. What's wrong? Host. I think, I now have found the answer. Why all the heroines are behaving differently from the original plot. Su Chen's eyes widened upon the system's reply. He really wanted to know what was wrong with the heroines, but system's next reply was bound to change his world-view. A/N. Let's see which 3-chapter comment first and win coins XD. And also, I checked inbox today and saw a lot of PPL asking about the pics I used in other book stealing the protagonist's Yandra lover CHS 80.81. Since most of the reader base is same, I will reply here. The images were from an AMV I saw. Here's the link: https://www.youtube.com/watch.app desktop v TDZFVYTU3PG. Chapter 19 The Moment of Truth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Host, after the anti-virus scan has been completed, a major vulnerability was detected. Oh come on. Don't make so much suspense, shouted Su Chen abruptly. The truth was almost in front of him. How could Su Chen's face not be impatient? Actually, all the host's inner thoughts about the heroines were being transformed into heartfelt voices, and were being transferred directly to their minds. Wait, you mean all those girls can hear what I think? Su Chen felt that this was no longer the world he was familiar with. Are you sure? Yes, the system is full of integrity and never lies. All of the heroines. Yes, all the heroines have heard your voice up to now. I understand now, so this was the reason for the change in their behavior. But, wait. Will all my thoughts appear in their mind? You do know that I sometimes think of lewd and other kinky stuff. It will be too embarrassing for me if they know everything. Even though Su Chen was surprised, he was after all a person who has failed the plot at least 4 times. Given his calm personality, he quickly hid his surprise so as to not miss any new information. He was always an accommodating person, so what if things have changed? As long as he can figure out everything and make the situation favorable, he doesn't mind changes. No host, since the system noticed this bug, only true feelings that you feel about the heroines will be heard by them, the rest of your thoughts and all the weird things you imagine won't be heard by them. I see. There was a peculiar expression on Su Chen's face as his eyes narrowed. Even though seconds were passing, his mind was running at a speed comparable to light years. System, are you not forgetting something? Isn't it my right to get the due compensation for the trauma I suffered because of your stupid bug? Moreover, now the things will deviate too much from the original storyline because of it. As a villain system, you must give me some advantage. The system, which was devoid of any personality and only followed the rules feeded in its database, felt the host was right. It was only logical to demand compensation, as it was its fault that a bug/vulnerability appeared and the host's voices were transferred. System, are you there? After a couple of minutes, the system finally replied. The host is right. As a villain system, we must always have an advantage. Words like shameless and unscrupulous don't exist in our dictionary. The system will use its reserve power to unlock a special ability for the host. Ding. It is noted that the ability is very strong and goes against the world itself. After the host gets the ability, the system will enter a forceful maintenance mode for 2 months. Su Chen was filled with question marks, but he couldn't do anything as one after another system notifications were prompting in his mind. 10, 9, 8. 1. Ability unlocked. Hidden eyes. The system used up all its reserve power. Entering forceful sleep for at least 2 months. Take care, host. Reminder. Please keep following the character of a true villain and make the system proud. All the host's actions will be rewarded once the system wakes up again. System, sys. Su Chen tried to call out a few times, but the system had already entered the sleep mode. Oof, there were so many cool and overpowered skills which I still wanted to buy in that system store. I guess I need to wait till 2 months now. Suddenly a chilling sensation spread across Su Chen's eyes. He felt as if his vision became much clearer. Is this the new ability? Hidden eyes. How the heck do I even use it? He tried to feel if anything was different, but there was nothing he could figure out. Never mind, I guess everything will become clearer in due time. Before Su Chen could relax, the girl he was waiting for had already arrived and stood next to him. Chu Chenxi's face was full of smiles. Young master, here, drink this hot milk, it's good for your health. Su Chen looked at the girl once again. He now knew that all these heroines secretly heard his inner thoughts and changed the plot according to what they felt was right for them. He can no longer act naive and lenient towards them. Who knows if in future they approach him to get some benefits. Or plot against him. As he looked towards Chu Chenxi. Subconsciously his newly acquired ability activated automatically. He could see her information. Heroine. Chu Chenxi favorability. 90/100, the heroine has a strong infatuation towards the host. Su Chen was taken aback. Wow. So. Is this my new ability? But, wait, heck. How can this girl have such a high favorability? Chu Chenxi's face was full of sunshine. Her eyes looked at him with unspoken affection, her voice was as gentle as if talking to a lover. Let's play, young master, I will take the support class and buff you so that we can win the game easily. Su Chen's mouth opened. There were a lot of words he wanted to say, but after a few seconds, he closed his mouth. He looked at her once again to find if there was any deceit or fakeness which she had hidden behind her innocent face, but her smile was as genuine as the 90 favorability he could see. A/N There will be another big ch later today. Chapter 20 A completely new route. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Well, I wrote a big chapter after a long time. Without arousing any suspicion, Su Chen spent the evening as usual. A couple of games, the usual massage, some action-packed evening movies, the same spicy dinner. Su Chen just went with the flow. If the other party is so eager to serve you, then just enjoy the service. The next morning Su Chen got up early, but to his dismay, the captain of the security team was standing next to him with an embarrassed face. Sipping the coffee while enjoying its aroma, Su Chen had no expression of panic as he listened to the captain's report. So you say Chu Fong is still in the hospital? Yes, apparently Chu Fong was beaten by Mei Qing's bodyguards yesterday while he tried to stalk her. The captain of the security team briefly explained the situation. He is still in the hospital recovering from various injuries. It is said that some of his bones were fractured. He won't come out for at least a week. Su Chen took another sip from the cup he was holding. Interesting. But. The security team captain hesitated a bit but finally spoke again. But there seems to be something wrong. When my people secretly checked his condition, his body was repairing all the injuries itself, and it seemed as if his body was getting more stronger than before. Of course, he is the protagonist. Rising up like a phoenix from ashes is a pretty common routine for them. Su Chen was still without any expression on his face. Okay, you can leave now. After the captain of the security team left, Su Chen supported his chin with his spare hand as his eyes regained their clarity. It's really interesting. I am pretty sure, hearing my thoughts, this Mei Qing must have already known that this Chu Fang is not a good thing and is trying to save herself, but my dear fiancé, you overestimate your abilities. Do you think you can fight against the protagonist's halo on your own? The strong luck and background a protagonist like Chu Fang has is unfathomable. If it was so easy to deal with him, then I would not have needed this villain system. The corners of his lips lifted as there was a sly smile on Su Chen's face. He looked at the phone lying on the table. Yes, this was Chu Chenxi's phone, which she forgot on the table before going to sleep. There was a thought in Su Chen's mind. Whether to open and check her phone for any particular details. Even if her favorability is high, at least there must be a reason for it, right? Perhaps Lady Luck was too strong on his side. The phone was without a password. He easily unlocked the screen, but what opened in front of his eyes almost made him puke. A web page with search results for how to steal someone from yourself. Su Chen clicked on history, and the cup of coffee he was holding on the other hand fell to the ground. The shock was too much. History was filled with searches like, how to steal someone who may be in love with others, how to plot like the concubines in ancient times, who stole the emperor successfully from the main queen, how to play the competition as a late comer, so that your love rivals who had a head start suffer a loss. How to win against a fiancé, how to win against an elder adoptive sister. And the list kept going on and on. Seeing all of it, there were black lines all over Su Chen's forehead. This is definitely because of her fetish. He pondered for a while. Given his understanding of Chu Chenxi's personality, he realized that this girl who spent the past days with him was already filled with other thoughts. Well, it's not actually bad. This heroine is not a vase and has a secret identity that later helps her to become strong. Moreover, I really like being spoiled by her. Yeah, I'm selfish indeed. After spending some time with her, I want her to belong to me. I don't want her to end up with Chu Fang. Oof, is this the so-called possessiveness? Whatever is this feeling? Since I have decided to choose the villain route, I should follow my heart's desires to the fullest. It was not Su Chen's fault. It's a common lesson in psychology that whenever some people spend some time together, something unknowingly changes between them. Even if they don't want to admit it, spending time in each other's company subconsciously influences their thinking process, and if the people who spent time are lone men and women, and are not careful, the small boundaries between them are bound to be crossed. Unless you have a heart of steel, there's no way you can stay as a mere acquaintance after that. Young master, Chu Chenxi yawned as she came to the dining table. Oh, you got up so early. Let me quickly make breakfast. Chu Chenxi, after spending some days together, was too comfortable and behaved as if she was in her own home. Her pajamas with teddy bear pics along with her disheveled hair only added to her leisureful appearance. Looking at her like this, the last straw in Su Chen's mind was finally broken. Chenxi. Su Chen's voice this time was loud. Yes. Chu Chenxi's shoulders suddenly tensed up. In the past few days she had never heard Su Chen speak in such a loud and domineering tone. Sit on the chair beside me. Obediently she sat on the chair beside him. The atmosphere became serious. Just answer me by nodding your head, okay? She nodded her head. She dare not refuse because this time she knew Su Chen was not in a playful mood. So you can hear some of my inner thoughts, right? Bang! There was a sudden explosion in Chu Chenxi's mind. The little bit of drowsiness she still had in her eyes washed away in an instant. Su Chen kept staring at her favorability using his ability of hidden eyes. It's still 90. She was taken aback, but she was a smart girl after all, and knew since Su Chen talked about it to her then there must be more to it. She quickly regained her composure as she nodded her head. Hearing her response, there was a satisfied expression on Su Chen's face. So you deliberately approached me, right? Hearing this question, Chu Chensi bit her lips. Su Chen knew this was the moment which will decide if she can truly be on his side. If she can't be truthful when given a chance, then there's no need for her to be here. Countless thoughts passed through Chu Chensi's mind. She remembered all the feelings she experienced with the boy in front of her. She remembered vividly how for the first time she felt needed in her life. She remembered making meals for him, massaging him, helping him clean the house, playing online MOBA games in a duo team where she would support him, watching movies late at night. Biting her lips hard, she finally nodded once again. No fluctuation. Favorability still at 90.it seems the feelings are genuine. Su Chen was really satisfied with her behavior. It's okay, you passed the test. Change your clothes, we will eat outside. Today I will take you out. Chensi, who was still immersed in her thoughts, was startled. Is this a date? Her words were staggering as if she was herself not sure what she heard. You can think whatever you want, hurry and get dressed. You only have an hour. Seeing Su Chen's smiling face, Chu Chensi didn't know what to do. Yes, she felt panicked, but she was not sure if running away was the right option. There was a faint feeling in her heart that if she left today she would miss out on something very important in her life. As she disappeared into her room to get ready, the smile on Su Chen's face further widened. She is really a good girl, plus since she is already a little infatuated with me, I won't let her go. Who says that love can only be at first sight? I think as long as one spends some quality time with others, the feeling will eventually change from liking to loving. Even though she has a favorability of 90, we still lack an emotional foundation amongst us. Let's cultivate some feelings today, my dear. Su Chen too got up from his chair and went to his room to freshen up. Just like that an hour passed. By now, Chu Chensi along with Su Chen was already sitting inside a Lamborghini. The highway was clear, giving a perfect opportunity to Su Chen to test the engine's limit. The roof of the car was open. Feeling the car speeding away, Chu Chensi felt an unnatural thrill. Her heart fluttered. Su Chen, go slow, the speed is too fast. What are you saying? Due to the roof being open and strong wind, Su Chen wrongly heard Chu Chensi's words. He thought she was just screaming in excitement. He looked at her and thought she was somewhat uncomfortable. He quickly took out the hairpin she had put and let her hair loose. Chu Chensi was screaming at the top of her lungs. All her hair became messy in an instant due to the strong wind. She felt wronged, but after seeing that it was no use of screaming, she on her own became quiet and closed her eyes. As she closed her eyes, the scene of him taking out her hairpin while her guard was down flashed in her mind. Unintentionally, she imagined Su Chen's face winking at her. Her face became redder by each passing second. She tried to hide her face but found herself tightly held by the seat belt. She knew her head was not in the right place. Even though she felt scared that the car may have an accident, that she still wanted to enjoy the thrill of spending up. Even though she wanted to scold Su Chen for taking her hairpin without asking, a part of her still enjoyed his actions. Her deep red blushing face was the clear evidence there was only a single thought in her mind. Oh, Mom. You said only a husband can touch a girl's hair. Woo, what should I do now? He played with my hair. A/N. Happy Diwali to all the readers. Happy face.